This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Dean of Dunedin's Anglican Cathedral says repairs to the fire-damaged roof could take some time. Oyster harvesters in Southland say they've enjoyed a surprisingly strong year. And Waitari's public toilet could be named the best loo in the country. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Repairs to the fire-damaged Anglican Cathedral in Dunedin could take years, according to the church's dean. Very Reverend Dr. Tony Curtis says the repairs could create a space better used by the community.
A temporary fix has made Dunedin's St Paul's Cathedral now watertight again after a late-night fire damaged the roof early last week. The cathedral's dean, the Very Reverend Dr. Tony Curtis, says it's going to take quite a while to repair both the roof and the water-damaged interior.
Our team are continually sort of meeting with the insurance assessors and all the people who will be involved. But I think we're probably looking at the best part of a year to do the design work and demolishing and rebuilding of the roof. So we'll enclose the new part of the cathedral in a protective tent. We'll build up the scaffolding at that end, sort of cordon that end off so we can carry on worshipping. Well, we've got to think about Christmas and all kinds of things we've got coming up to celebrate.
The fire happened just after a $150,000 restoration of the cathedral had been completed. And Curtis says the extra repairs required downstairs could create a better space for the community to use.
There's been quite a bit of damage, so we've got to do the work anyway. So we hope some good can come out of this and we'll produce a really good space for everyone to use.
Last Sunday, parishioners were able to meet at the nearby Roman Catholic Cathedral, but Curtis is hopeful services will resume at St Paul's this Sunday.
This week we're focusing on being ready for our 10 o'clock service this coming Sunday. We'll have evensong at 6 as well, and then we'll be back into our full range of services. There might be a little bit of furniture rearrangement to do from time to time.
A fire investigator says last week's fire does not appear to have been suspicious. In Dunedin, The South Today.
The town of Milton is not taking the potential loss of its only paid paramedic lightly. St John have proposed that all emergency road ambulance call-outs will have to include 2 professional paramedics. While intended to boost services, this would mean Milton's sole paid paramedic being shifted to Balclutha. Medical doctors in Milton have described the proposal as outrageous and fear additional pressure will be placed on less experienced volunteers. A petition to retain a full-time paramedic in Milton was launched today. As the oyster season comes to a close, the Southland company is celebrating a surprisingly strong year. Barnes Wild Bluff Oysters say good weather has allowed the fishery to reach its season quota 10 days ahead of the official end of season.
Staff at Barnes Oysters and Bluff are busy finishing the processing of this season's oysters, with the company having reached its quota for the season.
It was a good season. The weather was really kind to us. Obviously a bit of interruption with COVID, but certainly we found the demand obviously very strong at the start of the season. But once COVID got out of the way, it was really strong again.
General Manager Graham Wright has been part of the Barnes team for over 2 decades and says despite COVID-19, the company managed to complete their quota of about 5 million oysters 10 days before the season officially finishes.
We had about 4 weeks to the downtime, just sort of trying to manage around getting boats out safely and obviously the factory working safely. But once things got up and running again and the supply chain things went pretty good.
The Bluff oyster fishery was dealt a serious blow by the discovery of the oyster parasite Bonamia austrae in 2017. But Wright says the oyster beds are now in good health.
The Bonamia that has affected the fishery over a long period of time is at really background low levels, almost undetectable. the new Banamia strain that affected the oyster farms, that hasn't been detected in Fovo Strait as yet, which is good news. And the oysters have been doing a lot of whatever breeding or recruitment this year, so there's lots of little oysters out there as well. So we know they're slow growing in the fishery, but certainly a few years down the track, the future looks good.
The total catch in New Zealand's oyster industry is about 8.5 million oysters a year. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Wanaka's controversial lakefront water sports facility has been recognised for its architecture. The building is one of 23 projects being honoured this year by the southern branch of the New Zealand Institute of Architects. The lakefront building was designed by Alistair Maddell Architects and has won in the commercial category of the awards. Plans for the building initially encountered strong public objection, with the Institute saying the design sensitivity and a generosity of spirit won over sceptics. The Institute says the facility has become a popular community hub, enhancing the life of the town. The Waitati public toilet, known to locals as the Turdis, is in the running for New Zealand's best loo. It's up against competition from a public convenience in Napier, but Waitati locals believe they're in with a chance.
Proud members of the Waitati militia hope to be flushed with success later this year, with its public privy up for a national award.
Of course we're going to win the national award because we're the greatest loo in the known galaxy. Obviously we're going to be the best toilet in New Zealand. Napier's got nothing on us.
After many years of campaigning by residents of the coastal settlement north of Dunedin, a public toilet was finally placed in the village last year. Being Waitati, the loo has its own special science fiction theme, design and placement.
Oh, about 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. And not everybody was happy with the location or the look of this facility. But as I mentioned before, it's the local character and our accessorising of the toilet that has made it close to the heart of its regular users.
Gallery on Blueskin is only a few metres away from the Turdis, and owner Louise Burnside says their toilet was frequently used by travellers caught short, costing her thousands in septic tank clearing fees.
Every time it's emptied, it's costing me around about $550. And in busy times, that was happening every 2 or 3 weeks.
Resident doctor and bard Steve Bourne composed a poem from the point of view of Doctor Who, which proudly hangs for users to read while they contemplate life. The Turdis hasn't been without some issues, as some people have been making withdrawals while they make deposits.
Yes, so the Bristol stool chart, it's frequently removed. No one's taken the urine chart though, no one's been taking the piss, just the Bristol stool chart on a regular basis. And the logbook too has been uplifted.
Waitati's Turdis is facing stiff competition from Napier's Anderson Park toilets and the Hanua Falls toilet in Auckland. The winners will be announced later this year. In Waitati, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a singer-songwriter returns to perform in a famous Dunedin establishment, and we hear the latest in rugby chat.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits!
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Welcome back. One of Dunedin's most iconic eateries will be serving more than just seafood this weekend. Singer-songwriter Luke Hurley is returning to the city, performing in Best Cafe at the weekend.
It all started with a sound. Look, you hear this solid ground.
Former Dunedin musician Luke Hurley is back in town with a live performance at the Best Cafe on late Sunday afternoon. It'll be one of the first times live music has been played at the iconic seafood restaurant, and it's likely to bring out some precious memories for the singer-songwriter.
It's where Mum used to invite me for lunch, and I feel to my shame there are times where I didn't take her up on the invite, and you know how it is. You always think, hey, if I had that time again, I always would take up an invitation from dear old Mum.
Hurley is also releasing a new album called Happy Isles on the nostalgic media of vinyl.
And that's printed by the first printing press since, I think, 87. I don't think we've had a printing press for vinyl in New Zealand since about 1987. So I thought it would be a good thing to support them. It's Holiday Records and 111 Simon Street in Auckland. And hey, they've had a tough time because they've been affected by lockdowns and so on. But hopefully we're gonna come through this, aren't we?
And Hurley says he's not short of new ideas for future music releases.
We're moving onwards. The next album's called Jungle, and that's kind of the theme of the show on Sunday, is the Jungle album.
Luke Hurley is set to perform at the Blueskin Gallery in Waitati at 7 p.m. on Saturday, and then in Dunedin on Sunday at the Best Cafe at 7 p.m. In Dunedin, the South today.
With playoff positions at stake, this weekend's Dunedin club rugby action is going up to be a big one. Ahead of the big match this weekend, Rugby Chat's Paul Dwyer talks to Kaikorai's Ben Miller and Alhambra Union's Alex Frood.
So today I've got the big game this weekend will be AU taking on Kike. So I've got Fruity from the hooker from AU, and I've got Ben Miller who kicked a 70-metre penalty goal last week to win the game for Kaikorai over Varsity in the last second.
Nah, it was only about 40. It
was only 40?
40.
Even in the ADT said it was 40.
Yeah, win behind me. And
was it at injury time?
Nah, so there's still time for a kick-off afterwards. So
Right.
They did talk it up a wee bit to what it actually was.
Right, so the Super Club Kaikorai sort of struggled a bit the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've just sort of struggled to put phases together, sort of lose the ball on second phase. But we've done a lot of work this week, and we've got sort of more consistent, just gone back to basics. So.
Yeah.
Righto, mate. So, look, I watched that game last week. AU, Dunedin. Either side, I thought, could have won that game. It was an awful first half. Nobody got onto the ball. It was 3-3 at half time. We basically just started again. But when they got into the 22 in the second half, they scored. When you got into the 22, you didn't score. That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I think they were accurate when we weren't. They got into our 22 early in that second half and scored bang, bang straight away after half time. We got down there, dithered around and dropped the ball and just let them into the game.
There was a lot of drop ball in the first half, and you threw some bad passes too in the second half, and passes going behind guys, because you've got some real talent in that back line.
Yes, we do have a very good back line, and our idea was to get solid ball up front and give them a bit of a platform, but it didn't prove that way, and the skill set was not on.
Yeah, I looked, because you lost a couple of wingers during the game though, and you had the guy that's been playing, carving it up at halfback. Is he in our form 15? This Ben McCarthy, so he played fullback.
Yes.
He was tidy at fullback.
He was, yeah. He was good. He did enough, but I think he's better at 9, personally, and I think he probably set us forwards off a bit better than what we got, I think. But it was just through what we had to do to get the team on the field.
I just want to talk about COVID just quickly, just while we're here. I just want to congratulate, shout out to the rugby public last week for staying away from those grounds. We had manageable numbers, even in that big Green Island Tyree game. They only had 100 odd people there. West Tyree went well. I think the games at Varsity went well, and from what I could see, there was hardly anybody else at some of those games. So I think we may have done too well. So look, congratulations for staying away. Look, I want to add in, the same applies this weekend. We're still at level 2, but look, we want to get some people to the games. You realise we can actually have up to 100 on the sideline, so exercise some discretion, get along to the games. If you think there's too many there, well then just move on.
And the full episode of this week's Rugby Chat will play after tonight's bulletin, or you can watch it at any time at odt.co.nz. After the break, we hear the latest in our political series, You Choose 2020, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Evening, I'm from the Parks Department. Have you got a permit for that fire?
Garage Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garage quality service. Garage Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts, offering a free measure and quote. Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Welcome back. Over the last few days, we've brought you instalments from our You Choose 2020 series, so you can be better informed on both local and national political discussions. In this instalment, we ask local party representatives if they believe cannabis prohibition has been working.
Look, I think there are a number of issues there. First and foremost, the police have always taken a reasonably balanced approach in terms of people who have marijuana or are in possession of it. They've used it. I worked for the Minister of Justice, and it was always interesting. The claim that all these people were in prison for marijuana use, that's actually not the fact. When I was there, I think there was about 7 or 8 out of the 10,000 there, specifically there for the use of marijuana. So I think there's a couple of issues with that.
I don't think it's worked, but it is a health issue. I think it's a bit simplistic just to say let's legalise it. I think actually let's manage it a bit better for those that have become addicted. We need better services to help them get out of that space in their life where they might see a need to turn to a drug like this.
No, I mean obviously prohibition isn't working, and I mean we've had prohibition on it for years, and it's not going to make any difference to the people that smoke it or don't smoke it. If it's legalised, I'm still not going to use it. So
clearly not. Clearly not. We need to do far better, and we need to regulate. We need to vote yes for a regulated cannabis reform.
No, and that's the whole point. In fact, I should have said that at the beginning. I'll start again. But criminalising the use of cannabis doesn't stop people using it. It doesn't make sense. So we've got to come up with a different approach.
We'll bring you the final instalment of You Choose 2020 in Monday night's bulletin, or alternatively you can watch the full episode at odt.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Dean of Dunedin's Anglican Cathedral says repairs to the fire-damaged roof could take quite a while, but there may be a silver lining. Oyster harvesters in Southland say they've enjoyed a surprisingly strong year, bringing the season to an early close. And Waitati's public toilet could be named the best loo in the country if voted the best out of 3 finalists. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig.
Good evening. Focusing on our regional pages tomorrow, we've got a story about Queenstown Airport, which earlier this month celebrated 85 years of existence. It's a remarkable story, if you excuse the pun. Started with a grass strip really surrounded by farmland, and it's now the 4th busiest airport in the country. And of course with those growing pains there's lots of debate about how big it should get and how many problems it's causing for Queenstown. We talked to some of the main players on both sides of that argument, those who live under its flight path and those who are behind its development as well. And I guess with the talk of new airports in in Taurus and Wanaka as well, we look at where its future might lie as well, so well worth a read that. Right. Sort of getting to the business end of some winter sport already, and tomorrow we look at the 2 club rugby finals where it's really classic grassroots stuff. We've got a player in each of those finals who have played. One has played internationally, the other's played representative rugby in Otago and Wellington, and they're back sort of at grassroots level as well now. Adam Hill played for Otago, Wellington and the Hurricanes, now representing Arrowtown in the club final. Just a good family man and farmer up there and enjoys getting out playing a bit of footy with his mates. And Nick McLennan, who played sevens for Scotland in 2015. He's from North Otago. He's representing Mahino in the club final up there. So, yeah, it'll be a good weekend around. Unfortunately, not big crowds allowed around, but I'm sure they'll have a great day anyway.
Yeah.
And finally, just with our weekend mix, we've got an extract from a new book out about Choi Su Hoi, who was one of Otago's most prominent entrepreneurs. Raised in China, came to Dunedin in 1869 via the goldfields of California and Victoria. And he became a bit of a visionary in the city. He revolutionised gold dredging in central Otago and exported a lot of scrap metal, glass and fungus to China from here, and imported a lot of goods for the goldfields as well. So a real character around the city. Great book and well worth a read as well.
Right. Well, thank you, Craig. All of that and much more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, the Waiteri toilet in the running for New Zealand's best loo. Looking at the situation, a cloudy and cold weekend lies ahead with rain for most areas by Sunday. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth is due for some rain and 13 degrees, while Westport can expect thunderstorms and 13. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are set for cloud with 15 degrees in Nelson and 14 in Blenheim. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura and Christchurch can expect cloud and 12 degrees, while Ashburton is due for cloudy skies and 13. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect light winds, some cloud and 11 degrees. In central, Queenstown and Wanaka are due for light winds and 13 degrees. Alexandra should reach 14, while Tiano can expect rain later in the day and 11 degrees. To the northern towns on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect light winds, cloud and 13 degrees. Inland, those in Twizel and Omarama should prepare for light winds, cloudy skies and 14 degrees. In Dunedin, showers clearing tonight with an overnight low of 7. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a few sunny periods developing in the afternoon. A high of 12 and a low of 8. Overcast on Sunday with light showers and breezy cold northeast winds. More persistent rain at night. A high of 10 and a low of 8. And in Invercargill, becoming fine tonight with an overnight low of 8. Cloud increasing and lowering during the day tomorrow with showers developing from evening time. A high of 12 and a low of 8. Cloudy on Sunday with periods of rain developing during the morning and freshening northeasterlies. A high of 12 and a low of 7. That's all for our news this Friday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.